Hello, my name is Bradley Grunefeld, and today I'm going to be talking about POP3S on a Linux server using Dovecot, and SMTPS used on Windows using IIS, and on Linux server using Postfix. So POP3S, it's Post Office Protocol 3 security protocol. And it's used when receiving email or mail over the internet. It is associated with client-server model. So client-server model is when client requests data to the server, and then the server accepts that data and sends it back to the client. So how POP3S is used in this model is instead, when the client requests data to the server, the data just stays in the server. It does not get sent back to the client, but the data can be downloaded from the server onto the client, and when this is done, it can be deleted from the server automatically. And this is set by default. This setting can be configured differently to where that data cannot be deleted, and it can be downloaded just whenever freely. This can cause a security issue with that data being infinite on the server, and anyone can access it, or outside attackers can access it if they get inside of that server. So POP3S works on TCP port 995, and it uses transport layer security or secure sockets layer to encrypt the transmission of the data. So configuration using Dovecot, or the configuration of Dovecot. So the first command is used to install the program for IMAP and POP3. And then the second command is used to edit the file so that it can work with those protocols. And then the third command is to restart the server so that Dovecot can be fully installed and can work properly. So recommendations for POP3S with Dovecot. So configure TLS encryption so that data can be transmitted securely over the network. Using LDAP, so lightweight directory access protocol. This can be used to manage accounts centrally in the directory and it stores the accounts and authentication inside that directory. And then also using server-side email filtering, so configuring that will help with blocking unwanted messages from entering in the server or the client, just to block any spam messages really, or phishing emails. So SMTPS or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol Security. This is used to format data inside of an email, and it basically scrambles up the data inside of that email so that, or when it is transmitted across the data or internet. When it is being scrambled, it basically segments or puts it into smaller bits when it is traveled, and it can't be reconfigured without a specific decryption key. So that decryption key is the only way to unscramble the data so that you can view it, and only a verified recipient is allowed to view that data. SMTPS works off of port 5A7, and it uses the transfer layer security protocol. And it uses digital signatures for integrity, so making sure that the recipient or the sender is a verified client or system, and then also making sure the data that was transmitted hasn't been tampered with in any way. So recommendations when using SMTPS on IIS and Windows. So disable unnecessary services. So disabling anything that can cause or that has vulnerabilities that can be exploited by outside attackers. Making port 5A7 inaccessible. So this will allow that port to be closed from any external sources, basically closing up that vulnerability. And then require SMTP authentication. So this would be before sending out messages to external domains. SMTPS or using postfix, so on Linux servers, these are the recommendations. So disable verify, and then there's the command postconf-e disable _verified _command equals yes. So this would be used to determine if, or verify is used to determine if an email address is valid on the server. And this can cause an issue with external attackers. They can try to guess what that email address is, so they can spam countless amount of email addresses trying to figure out the correct one, and once they do, then they have access to that data. So disabling verify will help with eliminating that attack. And then limit the amount of network interfaces that are listening. So this can help with sending out outgoing emails to other systems. And the default is all network interfaces are listening, and when sending out those outgoing emails, you don't want all the interfaces to listen. So disabling most of them that no one really uses can help with closing up that vulnerability or closing up that port from being accessible to any external sources. And then preventing any unwanted email relaying. So this prevents email messages from being accepted by all systems. And then here's my references.